Hi. So now we're to our next step for making our first sounds. Okay, so we found the square. I hope you understand sort of the general geometry of the bow stroke and how we position the bow in relation to the violin. So let's find that square. And now the next point, the next element is finding the sounding point. Okay, now the sounding point is where in between the bridge and the fingerboard that the bow travels. Okay, and we have a pretty big range here. Okay, so the closer to the fingerboard we play, the quieter the sound, the more veiled, the darker the sound, and then the closer to the bridge we play, the more resonant and brighter and louder the sound becomes. So we want to find that optimal place for beginning, and it's my philosophy that that it's important to establish your base level sound, which should be a very big resonant sound to begin with, because it's so easy, it's much easier later to back off, to remove weight and make softer sounds, and it's harder then to increase volume. So we're going to start with a very big sound. So let's find the magic spot for that. So I'm just going to demonstrate first sort of the different quality of sound when you move the bow to the different sounding points. So just starting close to the fingerboard, sounds like this. So you can see, as I really got very close to the bridge, the sound got glassy, a little scratchy, a little unfocused. So there is such a thing as getting too close to the bridge. And so the ideal spot to start is more or less in the middle, between the bridge and fingerboard, veering a little bit closer to the bridge than smack in the middle. So find that middle, move it up just a little hair. And that's going to be your bass sound. That's where we start, okay? So we start with a quality of sound that if you were ever to perform in front of an orchestra, your sound will reach the back row, okay? So now the next step is a little counterintuitive, okay, what I'm going to ask you to do. But go ahead and get in the middle again, find the square, okay? Find that little magic spot, and it's kind of hard to see from where you are, but kind of in the middle, a little closer to the bridge. And what I want you to do, okay, I want you to make a sound that I know as a beginner player you want to avoid, okay? I know that the mindset of the beginner is to try and make a very smooth sound, and in order to do that, you have to really control the bow, hold it over the string, and pull out this nice silky sound, okay? But really what we want, okay, we want to be able to do this. Okay, so this, although it sounds scratchy, it sounds very unpleasant, I call this grit, okay? And we need that grit. And what that is just bow weight, okay? We need a substantial amount of bow weight so that when all we do is add speed, we get a very big, healthy sound. So grit, that kinetic energy, that potential energy of bow and string, plus speed, okay, equals good sound. Okay, so do that. Just what I want you to do is first check in with your bow hand and make sure you have a really good bow hold. Everything is relaxed. And then imagine you're turning a doorknob to the left, okay, counterclockwise. And as you do that, you're going to be adding a little bit of leverage, a little bit of weight into your index finger here. Okay, now you don't want your hand to collapse. You don't want the fingers to go straight. You're just going to lean in a little bit. And as you lean in a little bit, and it doesn't take much, watch what happens with the bow stick. You can see how wiggly it is, okay? you can see how it sort of dips down into the string. And all that is doing is going to create this really wonderful friction, okay? It's going to help the bow hair grab the string, and it's going to initiate the sound spontaneously. And it'll sound like a violin. That little grit we hear at the beginning of the sound, the little attack or the head of the note, is what gives a violin a very characteristic quality. Later, when you've been playing a long time and we get more refined in our bow technique, then we work on pulling these very silky threads of tone out of the instrument. But it's really very important to be able to pull out maximum sound from the beginning. So the first step, again, counterintuitive, probably not the most pleasant thing you've ever done or heard, but you're just going to see if you can get a little bit of the scratchy and still maintain a really relaxed bow hold all at the same time. Okay, and then next video, we're going to start pulling.